I just felt called to record a video to speak about how confused I am. Because in a way I've probably never been so confused in my life. And I know that this is a phase and like a transitional kind of period. Well, it feels like that's what it is, but at the same time maybe it's something that's always gonna confuse me now. And but in the sense of not having free will, but also in the sense of there being, say, like, the thing is, looking at it from a scientific perspective or a spiritual perspective, which I do feel like is the same, actually. Either way, I was meant to feel like I feel now. It was inevitable, and I will get through it. I'm pretty sure I will get through it. Because I've got through everything else. So I don't know if you can hear, I've got a bit of a cold. But I've got through everything else in my life, and so it would be quite a surprise to not make it through this. So yeah, it's honestly the most bizarre feeling in the world to not really believe in free will anymore. But it comes with so many benefits. I've never been so, I mean, when I'm in a calmer state of mind about it, I never felt so accepting, never felt so in the right place at the right time. I used to walk around and even when I was walking outside, just anywhere, and I would always like wonder, am I doing the right thing? And am I in trouble? Am I doing something wrong? And I'm not sure if part of that is just having like a neurodivergent mind. They do say that you kind of always feel like you're doing something wrong. But yeah, that would be like the norm for me. I would walk around and constantly feel like I'm doing something wrong. I'm in the wrong place. And yeah, so one thing from not believing in free will is kind of like and in a spiritual perspective of not having free will, it's like, oh, I'm always where I'm meant to be. Like that saying, and I did say this in my other video, but that saying has really resonated to me on a really deep level now. It's like, oh no, I'm always where I'm supposed to be. There is no mistakes. I'm always where I'm supposed to be. So that's yeah, changed things. It's it's changed everything. It's changed everything. Uh, I also I want to look after my health even more than I have been. Um, because I feel like I realise my own mortality so much more than I ever have. Because Eloise um, is really not real. And I finally understood that. I have had ego death experiences though in my life, so I feel like I have experienced that before, but I don't think the effects have been as long lasting as they are now since looking into the science behind not having free will. Because the way my mind has pieced it together is that, like, sorry, 1 second. Oh gosh, yeah, I'm not feeling very well. Yeah, what was I trying to say with the science of like if nobody has free will and everything, then everything is meant to be, isn't it? and scientifically or spiritually, the universe is just living throughout us. We are the universe. Like, it is genuinely true. And it was weird that I never fully understood it to this level. I just didn't, I never felt like this. And and I think most of us, we spend a lot of time feeling very separate to the universe, separate to nature, separate to evolution. It's something that we can observe but not part of us, but we are completely we are completely it. And yeah, it's really bizarre. But yeah, some other things that have improved since feeling like this. It's definitely cleared a lot of space uh, of stuff that I just don't really want to worry about anymore, don't really care about. And I'm sure those things will come back, and they are kind of coming back every now and then. But used to worry so much about like whether I was gonna meet like a romantic partner, whether I'm gonna get validation for certain things, where like if I'm gonna be with someone, whether I'm a good person, and like so many different things I've spent a lot of time thinking about, and they do, in perspective, they've become very relevant, um, very very irrelevant, and but also with a lot of like peace and forgiveness towards myself, where it's like, oh yeah, it was inevitable for you to have obsessed over that person or that thing or that desire, that dream. It was all part of the story of being Eloise, and it's okay. And now we have this kind of clearer space to continue living in. And it's a strange time though. I can't really. I don't fully have my feet on the ground with this, because it's kind of an uncomprehendable topic, really. And it leads me to the point that it's time for me to process less information now. I've realized that I have absorbed so much, well, not absorbed, I have read and watched and seeked so much information. Like, I have just been seeking, and now I feel like this level of knowing is not a place where I need to be seeking, and it's a time where I need to just digest, because I am genuinely concerned about my mind, um more than I've ever been, actually. I think more than I've ever been. um uh, yeah, I feel concerned about my mind. I don't want to process really any more information. um I don't think I can. um and yeah, it's really weird how it's changed the way I feel about things. Like, I really can't. I really just don't want to be anything but the healthiest, most content version of myself. And a lot of my other desires have really fallen apart, moved away, changed, dissipated. There's just different ways of saying the same thing. Um, but yeah, just yeah, I feel completely different about things, and it's really funny because I heard people talking about free will before, and I've heard people tell me about the science of your subconscious lighting up before your conscious mind is aware, and I was like, yeah. Just yeah, whatever, cool, okay, right, nice, yeah. Didn't care, didn't didn't really sink in any sense, really. I was like, oh, that's a bit weird. I don't really, and I just carried on living my life, being me. And now it's like sunk into such an amazing level that I just fully feel, I mean, it's not fully. I know that there's some doubt, but on the most sense, I'm just like, oh yeah, I am, this is all an illusion. My identity is a complete illusion. Me as a person is illusion. And I'm just the universe experiencing this. And it's all inevitable. It's all meant to be. And there we go. And like, wow, what a trip. What a trippy thing that is to feel on what's becoming a core level. It's completely changed my whole perspective. I mean, another way it's helped me, I used to have a lot of social anxiety. And it's so cool that I've said I used to have. That's good. It's like my language towards it is changing. Um, but like any time when I feel myself feeling a bit socially anxious at the moment, I'm just like, well, if it's meant to be, it'll be. So if I end up getting really socially anxious and having a little panic attack, then it's gonna happen, and that just calms it all down. Like it's just all, well, if I'm not meant to meet anyone significant to me, like romantically, well, it's not gonna happen. If I'm not meant to, it's all just not meant to happen. It's funny, but then the trippy weird thing is like, I do believe in the law of attraction still, and I have had so many like undeniable kind of like signs or things that have happened. So like, and it's, I don't not believe in it, but it's just like, it's just weird. And I am actually spending more time doing more affirmations now. I'm just doing them during the day. Like I don't even have to think about it. I'm just like, I'm so grateful to be alive. I'm so grateful to be me. Um, like because I'm like realizing how like short my life is, and like how I probably never experience this life again, and I might never experience life in a way again. I might just go into the everything and nothingness, which is like the universe. And so I am trying to make myself have a better life, and I've managed to let go of a lot of guilt since this new mindset. I think a lot of what was getting in between me and living my life in a content way is I felt so much guilt um, for being an abundant person, because I am abundant in many ways. Um, and I used to feel like, oh, I feel so guilty about that. Why do other people suffer and I've got this amazing life? And even though I do suffer, I think all humans suffer. But yeah, I felt like very guilty for living in like a like really amazing country, really, and like having so many opportunities and being more or less quite healthy and having good things going for me, and I felt guilty about that. But now it's like I am in the process of releasing a lot of that guilt finally, because I couldn't have been anybody else. I'm literally could only be me. So what's the use to feel any guilt about it, about being me? There isn't any. But yeah, I don't know if I touched on some of the things I'm confused about the free will thing. I am quite confused, but the main thing is I want to look after myself better, much better. I want to meditate more, partly because I'm just freaking out all the time. Not all the time, but this is quite a freaky thing to feel. I don't feel like I really want to seek much more spiritually, which is like a relief, really. I feel like I've read enough, I've known enough, not known enough, I've thought a lot about it learned a lot, but I've not actually fully known it, and it's time to just chill out, just be. So yeah, that's another good thing. Yeah, I've let go of a lot of stuff that are irrelevant. It feels irrelevant now. There's more. But it's funny how I mean, I'm only really connecting with people about this online, which is fine, but it's funny that like I spoke to a friend about it a little bit, and I'm trying not to speak about it too much because I don't think it's necessarily like good for everybody psychologically, because it's quite a head fuck, to say the least. But I have a friend who she did want to hear, and I said, and she goes, "Oh yeah, that really clicks. That really makes sense." And I spoke to her nearly a week after. I was like, "Oh, how are you feeling since we spoke about that?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, well, nothing you say surprises me now. Like I haven't really thought about it since you spoke about it." And I was like, "Wow, like isn't it crazy how different all of our realities are? Like this has been just like it's completely changed my world." Um but obviously for her, it's just like, "Oh yeah, trippy. Oh, weird that you're thinking like that. Oh yeah, I've not thought about that since you said." And it was more like, "Oh well, nothing you say surprises me." I'm like, "It's not about me now. How do you feel about this?" But I didn't say any more, because I was in that place before where someone would say, "Oh, we don't really have free will." I'm like, "Well, yeah, cool." And so, yeah, you just have to like live your life for you, I guess, and accept that we're all on completely different versions of the world, really. We're seeing it through completely different lenses, and nobody's better than anybody. No, literally nobody is better than anyone. And I'm realizing that on a much deeper level, and I'm just in a process of wanting to uncondition myself of so many things, like unbelievable, like the amount of things I'm like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that I have believed that." Like, for example, like looks, for example, you know, when you see someone and you think, "Oh, that person's attractive," or "that person's not attractive." I know that that's like a biological thing, but so much of that is actually conditioned. And like, I really want to uncondition that, because it's like, surely everybody is beautiful in their own way. And I'm not trying to say that in a cheesy way, but like it is actually true. And like so horrible to think that we never thought like that or we never felt like that, because it's like, of course they're beautiful. They are a creation. They are like nature. That it's amazing that they're here right now. They are completely individual. They are here because of so many ancestors and so much evolution. They couldn't have looked any different. And I can't believe how much time I have spent thinking about like looks in a way. But at the same time, it's like natural, and to be a young person as well. I think being young, you do think about looks quite a lot. It's all part of your like what makes you like an animal in a way. Um, but yeah, this is a really interesting time, and I'm really gonna try my hardest now to stop watching any more stuff, stop reading too much, just meditate, be in nature, be with friends. Try not to talk about this too much with people in my life because it is a bit much. And just create and realign myself, figure out what's actually important to me now, and kind of release what isn't, that feels necessary. Yeah, but I'll just end the video by saying I am very, very grateful to be alive, and I do sense that that feeling is really going to grow on a much deeper level. That will be less shakeable. I can't see myself. I feel like it's just, yeah, it's going to get more and more. It's not just going to be, oh, sometimes I feel like I want to be alive, sometimes I don't. It's going to be more like, wow, I'm so grateful to be alive. Oh my God, I just need to look after myself. I just want to be content. I just want to be calm. I just want to be happy. The rest, like, whatever happens, happens, you know? Yeah. Anyway, if you've listened to this, thank you for listening. Bye.